everyone, it's your girl Ayana. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a pretty interesting topic I'd like to share with you, and I hope it brings some value to your life because it has really had a major impact on my life. But before then, please subscribe, click, share, and follow. I'd love to hear from every one of you about this topic. So I wanted to chat about self-inventory. And what I mean by that is just kind of checking in with yourself and doing a deep dive on how you're doing. For me, why it's important, why it was important is because I was kind of feeling a little lost in life. Not really having, I didn't feel like I had a direction or anything. So I was just kind of just going and not like no purpose, just kind of going. And I didn't like that feeling. So I needed to check in. What a self-inventory looks like, and there's so many different ways you could do it, but the way that I do it, it's easier for my brain to process and to manage it this way, is I simply get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. One side is needs improvement, one side is on track. And I take the last 5 years, and 5 years only, because if you try to do too much, it's too overwhelming. And you'll get discouraged and you won't continue the process. So 5 years or less. If you want to do 3 years, that's great too. But take the last 5 years and I start going through my relationships, my friendships, my job, and what that means, like what that means, my finances, my parenting, everything I can think of. Am I where I want to be? Just jotting those things down. And if I'm not on track, like if I think, oh, I need to work on my relationships, I need to work on my communication in relationships, jot all that down. My successes, oh, your finances is good, you're on track, you're investing, you're awesome. Those wins, great. But in this case, I really try to focus on what I need to improve on, because the goal for me is to have more things on the on track side than on the needs improvement side. And in the beginning, I promise you, you will feel like crap because you don't realize until you put on paper the things you may need to improve. Don't worry. Once you put things on paper, they just kind of start to formulate and correct themselves, because now they're in the forefront in your head, and you start to take action. So don't get discouraged. They're going to move over to the on track side before you know it. But once I have my needs improvement, I just take one thing at a time and focus on that. So we'll take relationships. Struggle for me, right? And I don't want to say struggle, just, and this totally will be a different conversation, but just my role and myself and how I treat myself in relationships and how I let other people treat me. So I was like, let me take that, because there's a common theme in my love life. Let me take this chunk and work on it. So that meant me going through the relationships that I had in the past 5 years, how they ended, how they started, in between, going through those and starting to, do little bullet points, what could have been better, who did what. You always want to do who did what, because by the time you're done with this, you'll be you'll recognize where you needed to improve yourself. And so I focus on that. Then what could I have done differently, and jot those things down. What could that person have done differently? Jot those things down. If you do it right, a lot of times you're going to have more things that you should be held accountable for, because you can control yourself, right? Like you can't control someone else, but if you say, oh, if I took those steps, or if I left that person early, or if I was a better communicator, if I listened more, we may not have ended, or we may not have had those arguments, or if I would have held that person accountable, if I would have left after they cheated, or if I would have left after their addiction, took over our relationship, whatever, the circumstances that you may have. But just go through that, the good and the bad, and like definitely try to find the goods in the relationship. If you have had a relationship and didn't have any good in it, something I think is wrong with you. But jot all those things down. If you see a theme, or if there's something that stands out that really, really needs your attention, focus on that. Get self-help books, speak to friends and family. Um, YouTube has some great stuff. There's podcasts about relationships. If you need to seek therapy, definitely do that. But really dive deep on that one topic until you feel like you have made enough of a difference in it that you can move it over to the successes. And if you're in a relationship and you're doing this, it's great because now you have somebody to practice on, right? So for me, communication is a bad thing for me. I don't want to say it's a bad thing. I struggle with it because I am the type of person, I'm a people pleaser. So I will go for things and be angry about it inside. And I'll just say, yeah, okay. And I really am not for it. And it breeds resentment. Not that person's fault that I'm not speaking up for myself, right? But when you're in a relationship and you're working on yourself, there will be those opportunities to kind of practice. Like, okay, your spouse says, hey, I want sushi for dinner. And you're like, no, I don't want sushi for dinner. We had sushi last Friday or whatever, something silly, but you can practice on speaking your mind and having your voice heard. And if you're not in a relationship and you have those kind of things, just scenarios in your head and just kind of practice improving yourself or improving that relationship scenario. Or like I said, just focus on what you could have done differently, because I promise you in the next relationship, it will be in the forefront of your head and you will start doing it differently. So success. We're now communicating better, and move that over into the success box. Once I'm done with that, I go on to the next one and do the exact same formula. Dive deep into that one topic. Once I find, the things that I can control and fix, start immediately working on it and diving deep. In some cases, it may be you have to get people out of your life. In some cases, you may have to go apologize to people for putting them out of your life. There may be a tons of things. You may have to go on a strict budget because you're trying to work on your finances and your bad spending habits. Now you got to put yourself on a strict budget so you can get out of the hole you're in. Whatever you need to do. Once you see the problem, solutions just start flying through your brain. Or you start realizing, use your tools. Like you have friends and family who may be in a better situation than you financially, right? So you can come to them and ask them for guidance. Or books, YouTube, podcasts. There are so many different resources out there that you could use to help improve your finances if that's one of the issues that you have. Once you get that on track, you move it over. And like I said, before you know it, you're going to have more things on the on track side than on the needs improvement side. And you're not even going to recognize who you are or the last 5 years because you're no longer that person. You're way on the opposite side of the spectrum when it comes to who you used to be. And once you do that and you get through your list, right, start the process over again and just keep going. So you're constantly checking in with yourself, constantly holding yourself accountable. Where am I at right now? Am I on track? What do I need to improve on? And just it keeps you focused. It keeps you growing because you're always looking for ways to be a better person, be a better version of yourself. And they can be small. They don't have to be big, gigantic things like relationships, finances, parenting. It could be something as simple like your career. Do I want to move up to the next level, or do I want to take 6 months off from doing this and do something else, or it could be something minor, and you could do it at any stage in your life. It doesn't have to be like these life changing problems or scenarios, but it's definitely good to get them down on paper so you can see where you need to work on, and taking chunk by chunk. Don't take the whole thing at one time and you're done. Like, you just keep moving and celebrate. Celebrate when you make a success. Celebrate when you move something over to the on track side, whatever that celebration may be. If it's, oh, every time I do this, I'm going to buy me a new pair of shoes, or every time I do this, I'm going to take myself on a vacation to treat myself for doing what's right or getting back on track, whatever. It could be something minor, like, oh, you want to go to the gym more. So you go to the gym more, and that's a new routine for you. And celebratory is you go to the spa, to celebrate your new and delicious looking body, whatever. But you need to celebrate, because that keeps you going to work on, the other items that you need to improve. So I hope this helped. I really suggest that you do a self inventory, no matter what it looks like. It can be anything, even if it's just going to therapy and having someone walk you through this, not on paper, but they just kind of walk you through it and hold you accountable. That works too. Whatever works for you, and you can do a combination of both, like I do. I do my list, and I do therapy. But whatever, I think you'll feel better about yourself. You'll also realize you're doing better than you thought. Um, so that's also a great way to check in and just be like, you're being too hard on yourself. But it's super helpful, and it's helped my life, so I hope it helps you. But share with me what you've done in your past to kind of check in with yourself, hold yourself accountable, um, and how has it affected your life. And I'd love to hear more tools, or get more tools to be able to help me continue on my journey of self-healing, accountability, and self-love. So drop that information in the comments below. We'll chat about it. Also, if you have other topics you want to talk about, definitely put them in the comments below. But I really appreciate you taking the time and listening to me. Share, 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 especially if you have someone who you feel would benefit from this video. But in the meantime, until the next time we chat, please be safe, be true, and be authentically you.